So let us start look at probability distributions as part of our discussion on QA. This is an important area. Probabilities will always be tested. So it's an important area we can start with. The others will be coming as we proceed. Now, probability is just what it is saying. Probability is just chance. It is showing anytime you're looking for probability, you're just looking at the chance that something may happen or may not happen. So by definition, probability will just always be, anytime you're talking about probability, you're looking at the favorable chances. You are always looking at the favorable chances out of total possibilities. That is the basic definition of probabilities. So that if something maybe can happen 100 ways, and the favorable chances maybe are 30, then you just divide and say the probability of it happening will be 0.3, and the remaining 0.7 will be the chance that it does not happen. That is what probability basically is. So with that in mind, you can always deal with any question on probabilities. But then the most important area in probabilities we must go to is distributions. Distributions basically are environments which govern the probability field. There can be so many kinds of distribution. There are three main kinds of probability distributions we will discuss before the end of this all. But the first one, which we must start with, we can call binomial distributions. Binomial distribution is a distribution, is an environment which was created by somebody known as James Bernoulli around in 1713, and it has the following assumptions. The assumptions which this distribution will always want to deal with is that it will assume that a process will be performed under the same conditions throughout. If maybe you are tossing a coin, we will assume you are tossing a coin as many times as you want under the same conditions. That is the first thing. And that secondly, each trial will be independent of other trials. So that if it is a coin you are tossing, if you get ahead, the first chance, it will not stop you from getting another head the second chance. So you can still get heads as many times as you can. They are independent. So if it is head and tail, all of them have got the same chances of happening. And then the main assumption or requirement for binomial distribution is that each trial, this is the one that we can even put down, each trial has two mutually exclusive possible outcomes. That is the main thing anytime you are dealing with probability. So that this will always be things like the outcomes for your trial. Maybe it's a coin you are tossing, or it's an exam you are doing. So there can only be two possible things that can happen. Maybe success or failure, okay? Something like yes or no. If you are dealing with an environment where the things that can happen can either be only two possibilities, success, failure, yes, no, good, bad. If that is the kind of scenario you're dealing in, then always think of binomial distribution, which is just a formula that can help you to find the number of ways in which this thing can happen. Hit, miss, such outcomes is what you will be expecting. If this is met, then you can think of binomial distribution, which is what you want to discuss now. Then the probability of success, we will always call the chance that you succeed will always, for ease of operations, we will always just be looking at things as in terms of success or failure. Okay, that probability of success P, we will be denoting it with P, must always remain constant from trial to trial. It must be known your chances of always succeeding. If it's an exam you're doing, you can tell us that if I do an exam, my probability of passing is maybe 0.4. Then it will now mean the probability of failure will take the other one, which we will be denoting with a Q, and that will now be 0.6, because probabilities must always add up to 1. So if you are dealing with such things that are behaving in this manner, and you want now to know if I try this number of times, if it is an exam, any exam that you do, your chances of passing are always 0.4 and failure 0.6. So somebody might tell you that he has done a certain number of trials. So you might attempt 10 exams. So as a student, you might want to know, if I do it 10 times, or if I do 10 exams, What is my chance of having one success out of the 10? What is my chance of having 2 successes out of the 10? What is my chance of having 3 successes? Those are the questions that the examiner will be asking you in a binomial distribution. And it is a simple thing. There would be a formula which can always give you this required number of successes. And that is a formula which you just need to have in mind, and then you can be able to handle any question on binomial distribution. So the probability of R successes is always given by the formula n combination R, P to the power of R, Q to the power of n minus R. That is the formula that you need, whereby all these things that I've been putting up there is what the formula requires. Probability of R will be these successes that you're looking for. This will be the probability of any R successes. R is just used to mean any number, okay? So if you want to know my chance of getting 1 success, maybe in this question, 2 successes in this question, 3 successes in this question, then you just put them in the calc as it is required. N combination R, NCR is read as N combination R. In your calculator, scientific calculator, you can always press, there is the combination button which you just press. Like now, if it is n would be the required successes, the number of attempts, number of trials. Like now, in my example, n was 10. So if something has been tried 10 times, then you might want to know what is the chance I succeed once or twice. So just put the 10 there, say combination R, the number of successes you want. Kama ni 2, you put them there, okay? We have already said R is the required successes. P is this probability, which must be known. The question will give you, P will be the probability of success from past experience. So if the probability of success is known, then that is what you simply put there. We will do some simple examples for you to see where the formula comes. R we have already met. Q we have already said is the probability of failure. It is the remaining chance. Q will be the probability of failure. And it must be 1 minus P. If P is 0.4, Q will be 1 minus 0.4, which will be 0.6 now. Then once you've fed things in your calculator, this is what just put in mind, then any questions that might be required can be found. But now you know this formula is called the binomial expansion formula. Okay, so if you try 10 times, if this exam you did that you have got a chance of 0.4 and 0.6, if you did it 10 times, then it might be possible for us to find all the probabilities that would be there, so that they must always add up to 1. After you have put everything, suppose you got the probability of 1, or if n, let me put it a small number, if n was 3, if you got the probability of 1 success and get the probability of 2 successes, get the probability of 3 successes. If you tried it 3 times, these answers that you will be getting from this formula must add up to 1. That's what we can demonstrate with our simple example now, because if you have this in mind, anytime remember something can only happen in 2 ways, success or failure, yes or no, and that it is following a binomial distribution, then immediately think of this formula so that you can work with it. So I can build for you the binomial distribution for a simple question. Suppose we were told a question could tell us that an event, has the probability P of 3 over 8. Then you might be asked to find the complete binomial distribution for n equals to 5 trials. Suppose I'm dealing with something whose my chances of success are 3 over 8. 3 over 8, if we divided, will be around 0.375. So that is the chance that we can succeed. So if my chances of succeeding are always 0.375, like in this case, and I want to do this trial, it could even be an exam, the way we were saying, or it could be the chance that I go to school every morning. You might be told my chances of getting to school every morning are 0.375. That means the chance that I will not get to school will be the remaining 0.625. So suppose you are given 5 days. Somebody might ask you, between Monday to Friday, tell me the chance that out of those 5 days, I will attend school 3 times, or I will attend school only 2 times out of the whole 5. Then just think of our formula, which we have said, this is all you need for questions that are binomial in nature. I want you to go and attempt something here so that you see what I'm saying. We can handle any question. So if there are 5 trials, somebody might want us to show, because here now we are saying P is 0.375, which means Q will be 0.625. That's what it means. So the complete binomial distribution means to show me the probability of 1 success, 2 successes, 3 successes, up to 5 successes. So to get the probability of 1 success, we just put things in the formula and say, because there are 5 trials, n is 5. I'm just writing them for you. Go and try and put them in your calc. But I will also, in the second video, try to show you how they are coming after you've attempted. So if I want to know out of 5 trials in this example, the chance that I will have 1 success, I'll just say 5 combination 1, because R is 1. Then P is 0.375, and is to be raised to the power of R. R are the required number of successes. Q, you will multiply. This was your, you just say the calc 5 combination 1 times 0.375 raised to the power of 1 times the remaining chance 0.625 raised to the power of 5 minus 1, which is 4. So these powers will always be adding up to 1. You put your answer there. I want you to try and fill for me that. Go to 2. Probability of 2 successes. If the question asks you what is the chance that I will succeed twice, it must be 5 combination 2 times 0.375 now raised to the power of 2 times the remaining chance 0.625. 5 minus 2 now will be 3. If there were 5 trials, these powers must always add up to 5. So ikikuwa 2 itakuwa na reduce, but you'll always be getting your 5. Probability of 3, now I want you to put for me figures here, okay? Using your calculator, and then you will see something. The probability of 3 successes exactly, if the question asks you what is the chance that this thing whose probability of success is this, there will be 3 successes out of 5 trials. Just come and say 5 combination 3 times 0.375 raised to the power of 3 times 0.625 raised to the remainder 5 minus 3 is 2. These ones must always add up to 5. You get something there. Probability of 4 successes will be 5 combination 4 times 0.375 raised to the power of 4 times 0.625 raised to the power of 1. That is 5 minus 4. You get something. And finally, probability of 5 successes will be 5 combination 5 times 0.375 raised to the power of 5 times 0.625 raised to the power of 0. Okay, so that is will be all the chances that can happen. The chance that I'll succeed once is that, twice is that, whatever you will get. If you add, this is what I want you to go and see. If you add all these things, you must make sure that the total must be 1, because something must, probabilities must always be complete. If I have captured everything that can happen, chances of 1 success, 2 successes, 3 successes, if I add them, it must be the complete set, which will always add up to 1. That is what you would have to do if you are required to handle questions in terms of probabilities. But we will fill them with you in the next video. Other things that are binomial distribution will also maybe require from you, or some statistical measures which make sure you can always apply, is that you can look at them as assumptions. That in a binomial distribution, we will always assume mean. That is, if something can happen, if you have tried something 5 times, somebody might want you to show what is the average number of successes I can have. So the average or the mean for a normal distribution like this one will always be given by maybe the symbol. We can use that for the symbol of mean. It will always be n times the probability. Like now, if you've tried something 5 times, and you are saying your probability of success is 0.375, then the average number of successes I should expect should be the average, 0.375 times 5, like in this case of ours. You will just say 0.375 times 5, whatever that answer is, will be the mean number of successes I can expect out of the 5. That is a question somebody might want. Another statistical, these are statistical measures for binomial distribution you can also be required to apply. Another statistical measure is always variance. Somebody might ask you now that, suppose this comes to maybe 2 successes. That's just an example. Somebody might want to know, does it have a variance? Can it increase or can it reduce? Variance will now just be this mean multiplied by the chances you did not succeed. So itakuwa n p, the same one, times q. Q is the chance that you failed. So if you multiply your chances of success times the chances of failure by the number of trials that you have, this is what you will always give as the variance for this distribution if it is needed. And finally, standard deviation can also be required. Standard deviation, I'm sure you are aware, is always the square root of variance. It is always defined as the square root of variance. So ukiambiwa after standard deviation, this distribution that you are calling binomial, it will just be get NPQ and then get the square root. Those are also things that you can use as you go ahead. So think about that. I'm preparing another video whereby we will be looking at some other computations.